Deborah Reuben, and I'm the CEO and founder of TomorrowZone. So TomorrowZone is a technology strategy consultancy, and I have been doing work in the equipment finance industry for a long time, most of my career. And throughout my career, I've been just intensely fascinated and curious about what's next. And that's what TomorrowZone is all about. That's what this event is all about. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit of what we're up to with this whole Unconference idea and why we're doing it. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, you should see my my slide in a little window here, keeping it simple. So this is the Beyond Convention Equipment Finance Innovators Unconference, and Unconference is supposed to be unconventional by design. We're trying to design for, what is the best human experience that we can create to create a space for us to collaborate and learn and come up with new ideas together. This is made possible by our awesome supporting sponsors, LeasePath, Dedicated Commercial Recovery, LeaseSpark by Tau Solutions, and then we also have some partners that are helping us with media, so the Digital Commerce Event, so they're in the payments innovation space, fintech. DLL is a corporate partner, and I've been collaborating and co-designing with them ever since this vision was launched. They were my partner to help launch this into the world last year. And then our charity partner is Technovation Minnesota. It's a fantastic program. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. At TomorrowZone, our tagline is "Let's make awesome happen." I believe that awesome is a mindset and a choice, and so I don't wake up in the morning to do mediocre. So that's what we want to do today. Let's make awesome happen. Let's be open. Let's share our ideas, our questions, and see what we can come up with as we're taking a look at this new technology. I've been called the queen of questions in different spaces. I actually collect questions. This whole vision started with a question. So, as the world blew up in 2020, and all of our opportunities for getting together in person and collaborating just evaporated, there's still the need. With so much changing in the world, it's going to take, unusual collaborations and working together in new ways to create the solutions for the wicked and tricky challenges that we're facing for the future. And so the question was, what if we could have a virtual place to connect and learn and collaborate with other innovative professionals to not just let the future happen to us, but to choose to shape the future of equipment finance so that we could come together and explore new possibilities and experiment and discover what is next. And so that's what this vision is all about. People ask me all the time, what is this? And it's kind of hard to categorize, but I've been saying it's part think tank, part working group, part meetup, part hangout. And really, it's just an online place to escape from the status quo. So we're not going to be like a normal webinar that you register for and then don't watch later. This is, all about participating and engaging. So we want to hear from you, and we're going to have spaces during our session today for us to collaborate. We might break into teams and work on things together. So it's a little different. There are 4 things that we're doing. The real-time collaboration, events like this. This is where we can come together in real time and work things out and learn new things and experiment. And then asynchronous collaboration. So we also have an online community, and members of our online community can connect and get to know each other. We can share ideas and discuss things online in between live events. So it helps us stay connected. Later on this year, we want to launch an industry innovation challenge. So if you think hackathon, we want to do hackathon-like activities, but at an industry level so that we can generate new ideas for equipment finance. And then the last piece of our framework is supporting next generation innovation. And so our charity partner is Technovation Minnesota. And this is a really cool program. It's a program of Code Savvy, and it's all about teaching teen girls how to design and develop mobile apps to solve problems within their communities. And the things that these girls are learning are just incredible. They're taught design thinking methodology, they're learning empathic design and market research, but they also learn how to pitch their ideas via video and in front of live judging panels. So I served as a judge for a couple of years for this program, and it's just so inspiring. And so a portion of the ticket registrations for this event goes to support that program. And we'll be hearing from their executive director in next week's live session. So we're thinking big, starting small, and learning fast. We just launched in the middle of November 2020. And so this is our first full series. We're doing 6 live events this quarter, and we're continually rolling what we learned from you and what we learned from producing these events into what we're doing next. I'm going to just introduce this session. Just a quick bit of a backstory. So the way that this session came about, I've been curious about blockchain for over 5 years now, and Jill Aiden is here. She and I co-founded a women's blockchain meetup in the Twin Cities area because we just, we wanted to explore the technology and the possibilities. And so we've kind of been, in and out of that space for a while now. But this is something that we've been talking about in the equipment finance industry for a number of years. And at first it was seen as, kind of more hype than reality. But I think that if you look at what's going on in the world today, these topics are becoming more and more mainstream. And so I met Bart Kant back in 2017 when he did a presentation on, kind of an introduction to blockchain technology at the ELFA Ops and Tech event. And we have stayed in touch ever since. And in 2018, we collaborated and delivered a design thinking workshop. We had about 50 people in teams working through a blockchain design thinking canvas. We identified use cases for equipment finance that would be interesting to pursue. We continued to cross paths at different fintech and innovation events. And then late 2019, we were discussing on how might we collaborate to bring equipment finance people together to explore new possibilities in this space. And then the world blew up. So that didn't really go anywhere. And so after launching this platform, I reached out to him to see, is there something we could do together in the virtual space to introduce people to new possibilities? And turns out he and Manish Grover have been working together, leveraging a cutting edge method for accelerating smart contract development. And so they're going to take you through that today just to take the mystery out of how you can make that happen. And so I'm just going to introduce Bart. He's the founder of Rethink Ledgers, and he has experience in building blockchain solutions on a variety of platforms, Hyperledger, Enterprise Ethereum, RC Corda, and others. And before founding his company, he was a partner for IBM's blockchain services team and also a founder and global leader for Capgemini's blockchain practice. And we've got some Capgemini folks and alumni in our virtual house today. And he's also held a variety of leadership positions in digital transformation and financial services for a variety of companies, including Cisco, BMW Finance, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and more. And then Manish Grover is with Digital Asset, and he manages channel partnerships and solutions and helps teams identify practical use cases and develop roadmaps for execution. And his experience is wide-ranging, from banking to retail to manufacturing to insurance and more. And his focus is in the areas of customer engagement, product development, and digital transformation. And he's also the author of 2 books. So, man, you've been busy. So I'm going to turn it over to Bart and Manish, and they're going to take it from here and take you through an experience and a little education on smart contracts and what can we do with that in equipment finance. So over to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I'm going to kick off, and can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to be kicking off, is giving you an introduction of smart contracts. What is the need for smart contracts, and what does the technology look like today, high level? And then we are going to get into Bart's session, where Bart and I will then collaborate on giving you a little bit more deep down on how to use it in a practical way and get, like Deborah said, get from concept to prototype very quickly. So essentially, just quickly to sorry, go ahead. So quickly to touch upon some trends, I think which are driving this innovation forum. Obviously, there is in our industry now with equipment finance, there's need for increased digitization and contactless transactions, which has obviously been accelerated by COVID. There's end-to-end straight-through processing which is required because everybody expects things to be instantaneous now. Everybody wants to have a clear real-time status of where their application is or what's happening with their process. In addition, there's also risk management because when I was speaking to a few friends in the industry, who are into risk management, it was obviously about looking at not only leasing and being done with the financial aspects of it, but also making sure that the underlying asset is still performing and it's still meeting the needs of the lease requirements for the lease and all that stuff. So there's a need now for those digital twins to come out, and that's a big revolution happening in the technology space where using Internet of Things and using embedded devices, we are able to now track weather conditions, equipment conditions, usage conditions, etc. And sort of define the terms and conditions accordingly. With all of this connected stuff, obviously there's increased need for cybersecurity. Potential for fraud is growing, and in the end, you obviously just need a simple way to manage the life cycle of an asset, right from your origination to changing it, or even to terminate the asset, and then with all the financial management that goes with it. So I think with all of this now, what's happening is each of these business processes, and there are many business processes that support our business. It's generally a multi-party, multi-organization, multi-application process. There are many applications and many organizations that come together to support this entire process, whether it's the person who's picking up a lease, somebody who's maintaining the asset, somebody who's underwriting it, then you've got the finance team and all that stuff, and it flows from the business process zooms down from being between different organizations to being between different divisions within an organization, and from between different divisions to between different applications within a business division. And data typically flows down, and at each point there is a series of rights and obligations and authorizations that need to happen. There are multiple steps. Data is being transferred back and forth between all of those stuff, all of those different parties, and that's how a business process then proceeds. And the end goal that we are all trying to get to is to minimize the latency in the end-to-end process. And traditionally, technologies that have been evolved, and this is the technology that we are dealing with today, it does the job, of course, and there have been a lot of improvements in the technology as well. But the underlying situation is still the same. There are multiple applications or multiple enterprises that are talking to each other through messaging, exchanging data through APIs, sending files to each other, which results in some common issues. So each enterprise has its own copy of the data, which they are trying to now sync up with everybody else to make sure that at any point in time they are looking at the latest state of the business process so they can take the next action. So a nice analogy that I like to give is, think about it like a chessboard. If all of us are familiar with a chess game, there's a board of chess, and the board of chess has certain rules. A rook can move like this, a pawn can move like that, etc. And then there is a state of the chessboard at any point in time once the players have moved their chess pieces around. What is happening today is that the chessboard, the rules of the chessboard, who can move where, and what is the state of the chessboard, is right now stored in multiple different places. And before any player wants to make a move, they have to make sure that their state of the chessboard is the same as the state that another party is saying. All of that introduces a lot of latency in the process because of all of this reconciliation, and much of it happens behind the scenes, but it does need to happen, and a lot of the technology budget gets invested into that. A lot of the business process operations that we set up are to make sure that things like those don't happen, or reconciliations happen correctly, and that issues don't happen. So this technology that we are going to be talking to you about is going to solve that particular problem. It's going to make sure that all of these different parties, whether they are whether they are two different business entities or whether they are different applications within a company, they are all operating off of a common single source of truth, which could be private. So different parties, obviously, because of regulatory concerns, you don't want all of your data to be available in a common place for everybody else to see. You might want, and then there are data domicile requirements as well. So if you're dealing with a party outside of the US, their data, some of their data may need to be stored on servers within the boundaries of that particular geographical within the geographical confines of their nation. So things like those can still be met, but at the same time, each of these parties can see the state of the chessboard as well as the rules of the chessboard are common to everybody. So I think that's what this technology is going to be about. So digital asset obviously makes this emerging technology. It's being used by a lot of these clients on the right hand side that you see, who are doing a lot of transformation stuff with this. So this is not new. It is new, but it's not that new. It's kind of proven now. And what we are going to be talking about today is how do you deliver value now? So you can't do a transformation overnight. So how do you start with that process and start delivering value? And you're still preparing for the future of this collaborative connected business that we are looking at for the future. And this is the stack. Quickly, we'll see more of this as soon as Bart shows us his daml model. Essentially, this is the technology in the middle, which is open source. Obviously, anybody can use it. This is where you write your chess rules of the chess, and you share it with all of the parties. The ones on the top in the gray are the different parties, different applications, different entities. They're all looking into this daml workflow, the smart contracts workflow engine, which contains the state of the chessboard, which contains the chessboard, and the state of the chessboard can be stored on either a distributed ledger, which is a blockchain, or if you're within a company, that state of the chessboard, which is required to be coordinated between different applications within a company, can be also stored on a database. In addition, the state of the chessboard and the workflows can also interoperate across two enterprises. So there could be a network which is running on, say, a blockchain called Hyperledger Fabric, and there could be a chessboard within a company to maintain their underwrite processes, which could be running on a database, say on Microsoft Azure or on AWS. Those two also could interoperate atomically with each other, maintaining a common state of the chess process without anybody spending any specific technology effort to make that happen. So that's what this technology helps us with. And it goes without saying, the reason Bart and I chose daml for this particular presentation was you write your workflows in daml, and then of course you can deploy it anywhere without having to worry about which blockchain or which database you're going to choose. So think of it as till a few months ago, when you had to write a blockchain application, you had to decide which blockchain am I going to write my application for, because your technology, the application that you're developing, was going to be tightly coupled with the underlying blockchain platform. That no longer needs to happen. You can build your business case, you can create your prototype, you can run it, you can share it with all the stakeholders, and once everybody agrees that yes, this adds value, then you can think about the topology on which to deploy it on. So that's a very big decoupling, significant decoupling, I think, that we've accomplished over the past several years. So with that, I think I'll hand it over to Bart for taking us to the next level and showing how these rights and obligations between different parties can be created in daml and then deployed. And obviously, we're going to take you through an exciting demo as well.